Hello guys, and welcome back to the series. Welcome back to Football Manager 2023 with me, your host Dean, and welcome back to our epic quest across Europe to win every top flight division in the European nations in the game. We have reached 2/3 of the way through the season here in Portugal as the manager of Benfica, and as always we start on our manager profile. We do have a couple of things to run over since you were last with us, including some ins and outs in the transfer market. Obviously we've got the results to go through as well. So first of all, let's start with the transfer history. What you can see, we've got £145 million in sales this season. Now we have moved quite a few more players on. If we have a look at the January transfer window, I'm not quite sure where to start. But Toza, you were here for that one. Of course you were. £30 million brought in for him. You can see just the amount of players that we have moved on. Kosvari has joined Jibinuk Hyundai Motors for £550,000. Not a lot there. Was a fringe player, really. We've sent a couple out on loan. Probably the big two in terms of outs are Diogo Mina. He's joined Bayern Munich for £45 million, rising to 48.5 with some clauses in the transfer. He's made 6 appearances so far, scored 2 goals. Very much a fringe player for us, second choice. Was complaining about going out on loan, so Bayern came in with the 45 or the 48.5 million pounds for him. In fact, they came in with a lot less, and I got it up to that. So off he went. A few more loans. Janin has gone to Young Boys for £1.5 million. Another one who was unhappy. But the other big one is the goalkeeper, and that is Kitbasher. Again, Bayern Munich came in for the young Dane, £58 million, rising to 60. Again, it's another one that came in. Lowballed me really, but we got it up to £58 million, which means we had to sign a replacement goalkeeper. Now the ones we've brought in, you've already seen Ristic, £18 million. We then brought in John Jairo Mosquera from Red Bull Salzburg for £25 million, again rising to a total of 36 it rises to, but he's a fantastic player, 21 years old. He's still got bags and bags of potential as well, and he's already had a good start to life here in Portugal with 5 goals in 5 games. But the goalkeeper we brought in, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Christian Bahambula Lahit is the new goalkeeper. Another Belgian goalkeeper, 23 years old. Very, very good player. If we compare him to Kitbasher, I think we've improved our goalkeeper. Out of necessity, really. The money that I was offered for Kim was too good to refuse. Very similar shot stopping, but better distribution, better in the air, better physically, better mentally. Communication's the same. Slightly slower, but I'm not overly concerned about that. If we look at this screen, there's a lot more green there than there is blue. So we brought Lahiti in, cost us a total of £22.5 million. So we've made a big profit in terms of goalkeepers there. And then the last one coming in was Franco Bustos from River Plate. Can play anywhere through the middle of the field, really, and at right back. But he is the new defensive midfielder on defender at the club. Only £9.5 million total transfer. That has already massively increased for the 28-year-old Argentinian. So financially the club's in a very good position still £41.5 million in the bank. We've still got a transfer budget of £35 million. We're still underneath the wage budget. It's I think we've improved the squad, and that will be reflected in the league table, the season preview of course. Since you were here though, of course, last time you were here was the games against Gil Vicente and Famalicão. It's been pretty much the same since then. Santa Clara were next up, a 3-0 win at home. Bishara bagging himself a hat-trick of penalties in this one. All 3 goals coming from the penalty spot, which was very, very good. Thumped Sporting again in the cup before taking on Portimonense in the league. Ristic, Marcos and Mosquera getting his first goals for the club in this one. Another dominant performance. And then we got beat by Celtic 4-0 in the Champions League. Ricardo got 2 yellow cards inside the first 3 minutes and got sent off, and we were just never in the game after that, really. And Celtic absolutely dominated us, and it was very, very disappointing. But we bounced back in the league against Firenze 4-1. Ristic, Marcos, Mosquera and Hamid with the goals. They also missed a penalty in that game. Young Boys in the Champions League, nice comfortable 3-1 win, before beating Sporting again in another cup competition. Then we had a nice little run of league games, the first of which was absolutely massive, and it was against Porto, and we battered them. We really did batter them. Akinyemi's come back from the Africa Cup of Nations, bagged himself a hat-trick against our biggest rivals in the league. It was a great performance all round by the Benfica players. Porto were never in the game, and it's exactly what we needed. Followed it up against Sporting as well with a 4-0 win. Again, we've absolutely battered Sporting. They just haven't touched us this season. And it was Ristic, Marcos and John Jairo Mosquera with the goals. Followed it up against Braga, so we've beat the other big 3 teams in the league all in a row, scoring a total of 11 goals without conceding in those 3 games. Akinyemi got himself a hat again. Mosquera on the score sheet. Nazareno did miss a penalty as well, but unfortunately for us, we were massively on top. 5-0 against Varzim. Another good performance. Akinyemi getting 4 in this one, so he's come back from Africa in massive goal scoring form. Rio Ave were next. Ristic and Marcos on the score sheets in this one, and then it was Estoril 4-1. We finally conceded a goal. Akinyemi, Ricardo and Marcos getting the double there. We've also taken on Tondela in the cup. But in terms of the league, that does leave us at the top, as you'd expect. Played the same number of games as Porto. We're now 3 points clear of them, 4 clear of Sporting with a game in hand. Porto have dropped just a couple of points this season. They dropped some against us with that 3-0 win. They're then 0-0 away to Santa Clara, which was a very disappointing result for them, but they have bounced back since then, including a 9-1 win over Firenze. But it is advantage in the title to Benfica with that 3-point gap. And in terms of the league preview, you can now see that we are pretty much the favourites. We've got the goalkeeper. We've got more there than Porto have now, which is good to see. Do have a double header today though, guys. The first of which is against Moreirense, and then we've got Inter. We've been drawn against Inter in the round of 16s in the Champions League. Then we're going to come back and we're going to take on Vitória de Guimarães in the second game for today. So let's get into the first game. You can see that Porto have already played. They've won away 1-0 to Braga, which means that after we've played this game, they will have a game in hand on us still, but obviously we've got that 3-point gap now. And this is the lineup that we're going to go for today. It is going to be Bahambula Lahit in goal, Machi, Nazareno, Lourenço and Vasquez as the back 4. Bustos, the new man, comes in as the defensive midfielder for today. Melvert Yildiz in midfield. Joined alongside him is João Ricardo. We're obviously resting players. We've got to that point in the season. We don't have a winter break in here in Portugal, so we do have some very tired players, including Kante. He's desperately in need of a rest. There's a few of them who are really. Marcos, who has now got 15 goals and 13 assists in 28 games, so 28 goal contributions across his 28 games is very, very good for the Brazilian. Ristic has had a good start, the Serbian. He's got 6 and 5 and 12, which again is very, very good. And then we've got Akinyemi, who has hit the ground since he's come back from the Africa Cup of Nations. He got 4 goals in that as well, but he's now 21 and 18 in all comps this season, 17 and 11 in the league, and he is actually currently the league's top scorer ahead of Garcia for Porto. So we are underway in this game now. We're 15 minutes in. It's been a little bit of a slow start for Benfica. We've literally just had our first shot. The tiredness is starting to catch up to some of the players, unfortunately, but we need to not let off this pace. We know how dangerous Porto are. Of course, they beat us on the opening day of the season. We do have them in a cup final as well, coming in later on in the season. So our big rivals, Porto, we have to maintain the gap that we've got to them. But it's been a very, very poor first half so far from a Benfica point of view. We're going to have to get a little bit shouty with the players at half time, and we do reach half time. We are on top, of course, against Moreirense. Just unfortunately, we've not had a highlight. It's been a poor first half, and we're going to tell the players that we're disappointed with them and to get their acts together, and hopefully we get something out of this game in the second half. And finally, we get our first highlight in the 64th minute, and it is Moreirense with the ball. They're coming forward, they're working it down the right hand side. We've managed to force them back to the goalkeeper though. We just need to apply the pressure and pinch the ball off them because it's getting a little bit worrying now. The goal scoring form that we've been in, it'd be a shame to drop points and let Porto back in, but we do come away with the ball. It's Melvert Yildiz switching it out to the left hand side, and Vasquez, who's made that left hand side position his now, striding forward, taking it past a couple of men, gets the ball into the box. It's headed clear by the defender, but Vasquez does win the header. Comes to the new man in Bustos, back to Lourenço, brings the ball forward out of defence, feeds Melvert Yildiz. That's a poor pass though, and it's cut out by the Moreirense player, but Bustos does really well to win it back. And we do feed the ball to the right hand side, and Ristic feeds it inside to João Ricardo into the penalty area, has the effort, puts the ball in the back of the net for his 6th goal of the season. And mini panic over a mini panic over. It's a great goal by João Ricardo. Of course, João Ricardo was naturally an attacking midfielder when we came to the club. We've retrained him with that segundo volante defensive midfield role, but this is the kind of thing that an attacking midfielder can do in that role. And we're looking to make it 2 straight away. Easy for Nazareno, brings it down, finds Bustos to Machi. Bustos again to João Ricardo, the goal scorer, forward down the line towards Ristic. Back into Bustos. Ball forward to Melvin Yildiz. He's got Vazquez outside of him, comes back instead to Lourenço. Finds Marcos, now finds Vazquez. A little bit of space on this left hand side, pulls it back from Marcos inside the area, makes it 2 in quick succession, gets his 16th goal of the season. And it's took us a little while to get going in this game, but we have now got going. And into the final 15 minutes, we are on the attack again. We have brought Mosquera on for Akinyemi up top, and it's Mosquera who gets his head on that one, but unfortunately he can't keep it down. As much as this game's been a little bit of a struggle for us to find the net, Moreirense have not really threatened us with anything going forward, and we're looking to punish that. João Ricardo finds Machi on the right hand side inside the penalty area, pulls it across, deflected up into the air towards Mosquera. The goalkeeper punches clear. Now Moreirense, they do manage to get the ball into our half, but it's going to come straight back through Nazareno and Lourenço into Bustos. Lourenço again, Milvet Yildiz, little clip ball over the top, but it's wasted. Diving header back to his goalkeeper by Marquez in defence there for Moreirense. But still this highlight is going on. Ribeiro taking his time over kicking this out. He does go long in the end, but we do end up winning the ball, and it's Ristic finding João Ricardo to Melvin Yildiz. He's got Marcos ahead of him. Has to come back to Bustos. Good ball forward, back to Marcos. Can he deliver the ball into the box? He can, to Melvin Yildiz inside the area. Gets his effort away. Gets his 2nd goal of the season for Melvin Yildiz, the Turk. I think he's Turkish. No, he's German. He's German with a Turkish name. Makes it 3-0 to Benfica. And that's the way it stays till half-time. João Ricardo picking up the man of the match performance. We took our time getting going in that one, but in the end, comfortable victory there for Benfica. So just confirmation after that game, guys, that we do have a 6-point gap at the top over Porto. Of course, they've got a game in hand, but our goal difference is much better than Porto's. We've only conceded 6 goals all season, and 3 of those were in the opening 2 games of the season, which is fantastic. We've now scored 70 across the season in 23 games, which is fantastic. We are going to do another game in today's episode. It is against Vitória de Guimarães, who currently find themselves in 6th position. I do have Inter Milan away at the San Siro though, in between. So I'm going to go away now, play that, and we'll come back and we'll take on VTG. Right guys, welcome back. A little bit of a disappointing result away in the San Siro. We did lose 1-0 and the goal came in the 93rd minute. Inter with a better team, don't get me wrong. Massive amount of XG here though. The goal itself was a tap-in. Player pulled it across. Pat Duffy pulled it across for Corti in the middle, and it was an empty net just to tap in from about a yard out. Ristic played on the left for this side, and he had a poor game. We were quite poor, really. But I'm confident that we can get them back to the Estadio da Luz and pick up a result there. We are here to take on Vitória de Guimarães though. Just quickly, in the league, Sporting now have 2 games in hand. We have now 2 games in hand over Sporting, and we're still a point clear of them. So I do believe that Sporting now are out of the championship race. But getting into today's game, again, we do have some rotation, partly through suspensions, and the fact that we've just played a game midweek, and we've got Inter again coming up in midweek. Vazquez is suspended for that game though, so he's going to get the game today. We were going to play Essien, but he's picked up a virus in the last couple of days, so Vazquez retains his place. So it's going to be Lahiti in goal. Machi comes in as right back today. Costa, Nazareno and Vazquez as the other back four. Bustos, Lourenço moves into midfield, and Kante comes in as well. Ristic, Marcos and Mosquera is going to get the start today ahead of Akinyemi. Again, just a bit of squad rotation. Again, guys, it's another game where we start very, very slowly. We're into the 34th minute and we're getting our first highlight. It is Benfica on the ball, thankfully, and it's Nazareno bringing out defence, finding Lourenço, ball forward to Marcos on the left, looking to feed Mosquera. Mosquera's pinched it off the defender, Vieira. Mosquera in for his 6th goal of the season. John Jaro Mosquera, the Colombian, gives Benfica the lead in the 34th minute. A mistake there in the Vitória defence to allow Mosquera in. It was a good try by Marcos, didn't quite get there, but they've made a mistake. Vieira there giving the ball away to Mosquera, and it's a cool finish from the 21-year-old. to give Benfica the lead. You may notice that Porto are playing later on after us, so we're going to actually have 2 games more played than Porto after this game, as we're looking for our second of the game. Kante goes close with that header at the far post, but this is good. The fact that we're winning, we're now moving, 9 points clear of Porto as things stand. I know they've got 2 games in hand, but seeing that 9-point gap open up could maybe be a little bit disheartening for the players and the staff there at Porto. That's my hope anyway. Whether it actually happens or not is a different matter. And just after the hour mark now, looking to make it 2. Vitoria do win the ball though. Lourenco ends up with the ball at his feet. The ball's fed to the left and Marcos. Lourenco again to Vazquez, who's picked up another yellow card. Looks to deliver the ball. It's blocked though, but he gets it back from Lourenco. Does get in this time towards Mosquera again. It's a good header from the young Colombian, but it's unfortunately gone just over the bar. But Vitoria not really offering too much going forward. It's Lahiti with this goal kick though, looking for Mosquera. Wins it, I believe, and it comes with Bushdosh. Now Rustic takes it past 2. Nice little bit of skills. Tackled there, but he comes away with the ball still. Does Rustic. Forced back inside towards Kante. Back to Maki. Good ball into the box towards Lourenco. It's a poor header though from Lourenco. Into the final 15 minutes. Vitoria still not really offering anything going forward, but known Football Manager, they're going to go down the other end and score. Nazareno does well to win that header though. The ball's with Kante, but it's stolen off him, and now it's Helix on the right hand side for Vitoria. Switches the play towards Balau. Popescu, ball forward towards Silva. He's got him behind us here. We've lost Silva. It's a good save by Lahiti in goal, proving his value to the squad there. So approaching the final 5 minutes, it's not been a convincing performance again from Benfica. Mosquera's pinched it off the defence again though. Has the effort from range. It's comfortable for the goalkeeper, shall we say. Not enough power on the shot floor there from Mosquera, but it's not been another fantastic performance by Benfica. We are winning though, which is what matters, and it's the points at the end of the day that count. So we've still played very well defensively, which is not really offered enough going forward, which is the disappointment. And it's Lahiti coming to get the ball, finds Costa. Nazareno over halfway now for the central defender, still going, looking to feed Marcos. It's a poor pass though, and Vitoria do come away with the ball. I thought Mosquera was going to get in there again, but we forced their goalkeeper long. Bushdos wins the header, finds Costa into Kante. Costa again. Maki brings it forward. He's got Ristic's gone ahead of him. Now Mosquera, was he onside? Doesn't matter because he hasn't put the ball in the back of the net anyway. But the lino has got his flag up down here for the offside. Marcus has not had the best of games today, but we've come away with a 1-0 win, which I guess is what matters. Mosquera's picked up the man of the match performance as well. So guys, I click forward to let Porto play their game against Gil Vicente. They did win 4-0. Gil Vicente had 2 players sent off in the first half, which clearly helped Porto. So they do have a game in hand on us still, 6 points behind us, currently in 3rd position as well, behind Sporting, which you can imagine that they will overtake once they play those 2 games in hand that they do have over Sporting. That's the end for today though guys. We are officially 2/3 of the way through our first season here in Portugal. We'll be back next episode, whether it's to win the title or at the end of the season again, I don't know. It's what happens when we come to the end of the season. We could still be in a good position with that 3-point gap over Porto. We could not be, but we'll have to see how it goes, and we'll see when we are back. But guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, please remember to hit that like button. That really does help me out, and I will see you all in the next episode guys. So cheers, see you later.